restoring balance unto thee. Do not be afraid, your fun saving grace. Do not hesitate, let's reignite your faith. Divine encounters are all aligned. Divine encounters, our life's design.
There is no sound. All right. That's fine. There is sound now. There's always a sound thing. Hello, Mr. Devon. How are you doing today? I just gave you guys your blessing, but no worry, it is still valuable. And you guys know me. I am Dominique Rivera, the Oracle of Apollo. And if you would like to work with me, you can do so at Philadelphia. Meetup.com, Awaken Philadelphia, or you can go to my website, howwellness.com. Today we have Mr. Ken, who's going to be coming on, and he's going to be sharing a very special story time with you guys today. So thank you for being here. Get your watch party started. Invite your friends in. And don't forget, at the end of today's segment, I'm going to answer a very special, a Divine Encounters winner's question with a channel angel blessing. And all you have to do to win your own channeled angel blessing is share this feed, comment that you shared it, replay or live, and then email me at divineencounters@e360tv.com. And thank you all for being here so very much. And of course, let me bring you guys my very wonderful guest, Mr. Ken. But first, I think he has to get through that vortex. Might be a little challenge.
3, 2, 1, go.
Whoa, you made it through the vortex.
I'm glad for that.
Thank you for being here, Ken. It's an honor to have you. Mr. Ken and I go back to How Awareness Center days, and he would come and teach some wonderful dream-inspired classes. And I'm going to let him introduce himself and let you guys know a little bit about all the wonderful things that he does.
Well, hi, my name is Ken Kaplan. I've been on the spiritual path now for 53 years, since 1967. And I'm going to share today, since the topic is divine encounters, I'm going to share some of my earliest encounters with the divine and kind of what they mean. I am a spiritual coach and a spiritual advisor. I'm a dream specialist. Part of what you see is what stimulated that as part of my story. And I do dream work with people. It's extremely fulfilling. I consider myself having a great deal of expertise in what I call afterlife studies. In the technology of consciousness. I've done a lot of work with Dominique about that at her center, about the nature of the relationship between the other side and this side, and about what our incarnations are about. So I do a lot of coaching around that kind of stuff. I am a medium, and generally I'm also a presenter. So I have been strong in being able to present on a vast number of spiritual topics throughout the years, throughout the Delaware Valley area. I've done this probably for about 30 years,
Wow.
teaching at Borders bookstores, at conferences. I have an ability to communicate. Communication is my strength. I've been a professional storyteller for 30 years, working with children and working with adults, and the storytelling ability comes through in my presentation ability.
And
That's
that is definitely a divine gift. Storytelling is definitely a divine gift.
it's in my
Um,
heart.
I'm
It's
so glad that you're here to be able to have to show us about this and tell us your story. And I'm just excited. I'm just so excited. I was like, I made new transitions and everything just for you today, Ken. So what you guys are going to see is Ken inspired. And this was so good. Let's get into the good news. Are you ready for some good news, Ken?
sure am.
All right, let's do it. All righty. So we have the good news today. It is the Mother Mary card. Let's try to get her there in frame for you. We have the Mother Mary card. And of course, we start off every Divine Encounters episode with the good news. Essentially, this is the current energies for your week. And today we have Mother Mary, and she is stating, expect a miracle. Have faith that your prayers have been heard and are being answered. Faith is the light that illuminates your pathway. Without faith, the future looks very frightening. That's why it's essential for you to take whatever steps are necessary to keep your mind and your heart filled with faith. Please don't give up hope on yourself or other people. Keep the candle of faith burning within your soul, and that one small inkling of hope can eradicate the darkness of despair. Be the light that eliminates someone else's gloomy hopelessness as well. For as you make others stronger, it strengthens not only yourself, but the entire world. Other meanings to this card: let go of worrisome thoughts, keep your thoughts positive. Notice and follow any divine guidance you may receive. Pray, engage in spiritual healing. And about Mother Mary, she's the beloved mother who's known as the Queen of the Angels. And we've actually gotten her here maybe 3 times. And she is known for her miraculous ongoing healing work. Mary works closely with anyone who loves children, who works for children, teacher, healer, child advocate. And she loves children and is very devoted to making the world a safe and happy place for them. If you'd like to help children, ask Mother Mary for a divine assignment. And that today, ladies and gents, is your good news. Hey, what's interesting? That this card is the Expect a Miracle card. And recently, I feel like one of my clients had a miracle experience. He called me yesterday and we had our typical session, and he says, last week I was at work, and he has a prestigious position, which I won't name. And I was having a panic attack in front of all of my peers, and I didn't know what to do. And all of a sudden, Oracle, I saw you walk into my third eye and said, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And a wave of energy came into him of ease and calm, and the panic attack subsided. And for me, that is definitely a miracle. That is divine intervention. Any thoughts on that, Ken?
Well, yeah, this is a massive synchronicity. So if we're talking about divine encounters, we're having one at this very moment. Mary has been all over me in COVID.
Me too.
I was first introduced to Mary in 1992 through a channel. And Mary spoke to me through this channel and said that she really wanted me to work with her. And that was in various points in my life, she would be very, very present. But recently, particularly through a woman named Frances Faden, who channels Mary, and there are many people who channel Mary, you might channel her yourself. Mary has shown up almost constantly for me in almost every important meditation. I can feel her. We did a 2-week meditation with her where her presence was incredibly powerful. She has been probably more than any other ascended being more present for me in this whole COVID period than any other angelic or divine presence.
I agree with that. Me too.
And just, I have to say, she's been all over me. So it's very, very interesting and synchronistic that at the moment when I'm doing this for other people, she shows up to also support this. I mean, it's been uncanny how much every person who's a healer has mentioned to me, Mary's with you. I feel Mary's presence. I feel Mary's presence. It's been unreal how powerful her involvement has been. And here she shows up again tonight.
Divinely guided. Wow. That is absolutely beautiful. What a great way to start your divine encounters experience. I'm excited now because I know, Ken, you have an amazing story about a guru and you're going to tell us all about him, and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. So I'm just going to let him segue into this. So get your teacups, put the TV down. Let's focus on this story because I know it's going to be a good one. Go ahead, Mr. Ken. It's all yours.
Well, it all starts with my family. I grew up in a family that had no spirituality whatsoever. We were what's called non-observant Jews.
Okay.
In other words, there's no religious aspects to anything, but you keep the culture of the people. But my father was a zealous atheist, and my mother was an agnostic. So it shows and demonstrates that how we evolve spiritually has very, very little to do actually in terms of your soul with your family upbringing. If it's meant to happen through your family upbringing, it can. Mine was the opposite. I had no spirituality whatsoever for the first 20 years of my life. The thought of God was the farthest thing from my mind.
Okay.
Then, bang, comes the 60s. And all of a sudden, I get involved with psychedelic drugs. And obviously, it is my proclivity to be a mystic. And so, but through the use of that, I started to experience things. And those were very powerful, but I'm not going to get into them. But I would say that some of my earliest authentic encounters with the divine happened through that.
Wow.
But I began to have being led toward the idea of a teacher. And my first teacher, which I thought was Yogananda, because I read his autobiography, and I would encourage everybody to read the autobiography of a yogi, which is considered one of the 100 most important spiritual books of the 20th century.
And for those who are super ultra lazy, sorry about that. This is where you can reach Ken, but super lazy, they have the Netflix version of the same movie. I mean, of the book, where you can actually watch the documentary of him.
Well, the documentary is different than that's about his travels in
Teachings.
America. But the book itself is filled with miracles. And
Okay.
many people of my generation, because I'm 73, that was a huge gateway to opening up to the path of meditation. So it turned out, and I won't go through the circumstances, through a bunch of incredible synchronicities, I ended up with a guru who was in India. His name was Sri Sri Anandamurti.
Okay.
The word murti means figure of or embodiment of, and Ananda means bliss. So his name spiritually meant that he was literally the embodiment, the literal figure embodiment of bliss.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about, as I go along, and people can ask questions, that through my interaction with the guru, I came to understand who and what guru was, because most people think guru is a person. And I'm here to say that that's not true.
Okay.
That the true guru is the higher self or God itself expressing itself in a form. So
Mm.
everybody in actuality is guru. But some very exalted masters have so unified their consciousness with God or the divine source that it flows 100% through them. And therefore, there's only God present and no ego. But that's the capacity that we all have. And that's something that we learn. So my earliest experiences were I got involved with a group through a series of how the divine drew itself through me to itself.
Mm.
My doing. And that's a whole story in and of itself, which I'm not going to talk about. But the day of my initiation, all kinds of bells and whistles went off. The guru was not physically present. I did not see the guru physically for 14 years.
Wow.
So then one says, well, how did you form a connection with this teacher? And that's what I want to talk about. So the first year I lived on Long Island, and there was a lot of joy and bliss. We did kirtans and we did meditations, and we went out to a national gathering. But then something very special happened. I moved to Philadelphia
Hmm.
because the group that I was with in Long Island broke up. And one night, I was staying in a guy's room. He was in India trying to see the guru, who unfortunately or fortunately had been put in jail by the Indian government because my guru, unlike most gurus, was very political. And he had come at odds with the Indian government because he was causing upheaval in Indian society around certain traditional norms. He was
Hmm.
free women. He was sending workers into the field to do work with schools and setting up hospitals and things like that. And the Communist Party was really against what he was doing because he was in the stronghold of the Communist Party. But he was so political, both the CIA and the KGB had dossiers on him.
Wow.
So he had been put in jail. They actually tried to assassinate him, but they couldn't do it. So he wasn't physically available. No one was going to India to be able to see him. It was very, very hard to see him because he was in jail. So a friend of mine was in India and I was in his room. And I lay down to sleep, and that night I had a dream. And in the dream, my guru, who we affectionately call Baba, most gurus are called Baba, Maharaji. These are names that Amma, these are names that gurus usually have. In the dream, he appeared, and it was at my high school. And he was talking with some people, and I thought to myself, wow, Baba's in my dream. And I felt, and this was something that a feeling I had in these dreams for a long time, that he would have nothing to do with me because that was the way my father treated me. But all of a sudden in the dream, everything opened up, and all of a sudden he was talking with me, and I'm thinking, wow, this is really cool.
You have people shifting here while you're talking about your guru's energy. There's people shifting their energy as you're speaking of him. Look at this
So
one, Ken.
in the
And this
dream,
one
it looked
too.
exactly like he looked in his pictures. He was a short man with glasses, balding head, and dressed all in white. And then the energy starts to build in the dream, but I'm not aware of it. And then all of a sudden the dream shifts, and we're at Einstein Hospital, where a friend of mine had a yoga meditation class. We
Hmm.
were teaching meditation. And then my guru says to me, I'm going to give you the third lesson of Ananda Marga. That was the name of the organization that he founded, which means the path to bliss. And I'd only had the first two lessons.
Okay.
He's going to give me the third lesson. And this became a motif in these dreams. A giant hand comes down and like pinches out a candle, and I wake up. And
Wow.
when I wake up, I gasp because the entire room is filled with bliss. The room that I'm actually in physically is filled with bliss. And the bliss is so drenching that it feels like I can reach up like a fruit and pluck it and eat it because it saturates everything. And it's clear that something or someone had been with me in that room, or that energy that had radiated and transmitted this bliss to me. And it was so powerful that it saturated my entire being, my entire body, and it just radiated everywhere.
You have May feeling what you're talking about. Her heart is so heavy, she's about to cry. She's having a huge shift as you're sharing your story.
And this was the first dream, and I woke up in awe of this feeling, of this presence. And that was the first time that level of this dream happened. Then the dream started to come, excuse me, 2 and 3 times a week. I remember one dream in which this was a dream that would presage the next 20 years of my life.
Okay.
I'm riding in a car with Baba. Now, we knew that Baba had an old used black Mercedes, and I'm in it with him in the dream. All of a sudden, he tosses me out of the car, closes the door, and the car speeds off. And I'm by the side of the road by myself. The Rocky Mountains, which I had had a lot of relationship with, appear in the background. And
Huh.
there's a man that I'm really scared of, who seems crazy. And all of a sudden, when I finally connect with his pain, which is around his father, because he was an aspect of myself. The car reappears, the door was up, and I'm back in the car with Bob, and it speeds off. This presaged that the guru was going to leave me. I was going to feel abandoned for a while.
Mm.
And so what happened was I had all these dreams. One of the most important dreams happened on his birthday, which is the full moon in May, which is Buddha's birthday, in 1974. In the dream, I'd been trying to get away from Ananda Marga because things had gotten really crazy. And in the dream, he appears in America. And to keep the dream short, at the end of the dream, I'm in a room with him, but he's on a bed. And he pulls me toward him, an energy pull. I'm trying to resist, but I can't. And right here, I have a missing tooth from when I was had a terrible time during the Vietnam War period in 1970. He rubs this part of this and says to me, he says, I am your guru, I am your Christ, I am your savior.
Oh my God.
The dream ends, and I wake up in astonishing bliss and ecstasy. And this is what happened through most of these dreams. I would wake up with the feeling of divine love. Now, one of these dreams that happened before this one, he had come to me as the Divine Mother and said, I am leaving you for a while, and it will be very difficult for you, and you will struggle greatly.
Wow.
But when I return, you will have the vision of God that you seek. And it turned out that the car dream and that dream fulfilled itself in a massive nervous breakdown I have.
Wow.
It started actually in 1978, and I was hospitalized, and I was I was hospitalized, and I had the acute phase for about 8 years. I didn't go back to work, and I didn't become a storyteller until I was 42 years old. So it took about 10 years of my life to go through this incredible dark night of the soul.
Wow.
But the guru had come to me and predicted it. So the question then becomes, why did I have all these? I didn't go to India to see him the way many people did, because he got out of jail in around he got out of jail, I think, around 1978, just when I was starting to break down. So then I asked myself the question, why the dreams? Why this particular way that I started my own opening of the door in a very profound way to the divine? And what I've come to understand is that this was a divine contract.
Mm.
Me and my higher self. That God, my higher self, which is the truth of who I really am and the truth of who all of us really are, knew that because of my karma, I was not going to be able to go to India and have the encounter with the guru in the physical form,
Okay.
where the transmission could take place. So the deal was going to be, okay, you're not going to be able to come to me in physical form. And now I'm feeling his presence really strongly as I'm saying this. He said, I'm going to come to you in dreams. And the dreams will be so powerful, they'll be as powerful or more powerful than people usually get in physical form.
Wow.
Because in physical form, you still have the barrier of the ego,
Yeah,
resistance to the flow of energy.
exactly.
In the dream state, there's no resistance. So there's the full ability to take in. So this was the first 14 years where the dreams were the ways in which I connected. Finally, this is the second phase of all this. I finally was able in 1985 to go to India and see him.
Okay, hold on. This is a good point where we're going to pause because we're getting to the second phase and it's getting so juicy. But there's so much shifting right now. And the people watching, let's do our divine experience, which you guys know comes in every segment. 1 minute of Reiki coming to you guys now. And then we're going to jump back into the second phase of our story with Ken, which I know is titillating and you're on the edge of your seat because I know I am. Okay, so let's go ahead here. Put me down. Close your eyes. Here's your instructions. It's going to be happening for the next 60 seconds. Call in your angels, guides, and Ken, if you want to call in, whoever you want to call in, we're going to share this energy moment together. Let's go.
Divine encounter.
Taking that breath in, everyone, eyes closed, 60 seconds on the clock. And go ahead and just visualize that crown chakra opening right now for you. And take a breath in. And just invite the loving, angelic energy, benevolent beings, guides, ascended masters to guide, direct, surround, and protect you today and assist you to release anything that no longer serves you. And we're just going to visualize the bottom of a drain in the bathtub. And as you look at the bottom of the drain in the bathtub, all the suds make their way down, down, down the drain, never to be seen again. And this is pulling away all the dirt, the negative thoughts, the negative energy, anything that no longer serves you. Keep breathing, keep your focus within yourself. And there's no need to be anywhere but where you are right now. Give yourself this permission to take this moment for this one last intake breath and one long exhale. Send the energy down to the ground. Hands placing in front of the heart, and I bow to you all. Namaste. So thank you for that. Letting everybody know, feel free to place into the comments how you're feeling after that divine experience really quickly. I'm feeling a lot of energy coming down in my head. As Ken was talking about his guru, I know a lot of you were feeling a lot of beautiful energy. You're overwhelmed. I was feeling a lot of loving energy as well. And now I'm just feeling like I'm from 1 to 10, I'm a 10. I feel fantastic. I can jump up and down. How about you, Ken? How are you feeling?
Feeling fine.
Ken is feeling fine. Anybody at home want to say from 1, the worst day of your life? From 10, absolutely fantastic. Put it there in the comment section because, of course, we can't create a divine experience without the experience. And this includes all of your interactions at home. So going back to Ken's second phase of his story, I'm going to let you go ahead and take that, Ken.
Thank you. I also want to emphasize that I think there's a wonderful segue of what you said about that the difference between spirituality and religion is that spirituality is based on experience. That one builds one foundation of relationship to the divine through the encounters that one has. It's not a belief system. It's based on experience. So this was my initial doorway. So finally, I get a chance to go to India. Actually took money out of an account of a student loan that I had. And when I went to India, it wasn't exactly, it was what I wanted, but it wasn't what I wanted. I got what I needed.
Right.
I was very addicted to, at that time, to physical form. What a lot of people with great gurus fall into the trap of is not what more fundamental Christianity says, that Jesus is the only way. Not fundamental Christianity, but Christianity itself says Jesus is the only way. In the East, no one would believe that.
Mm-hmm.
They would believe that Jesus is one way.
Right.
Jesus is one master out of many masters.
Right.
But Christianity teaches Jesus is the only way. But many people who get involved with gurus think that my guru isn't the only way, but they're the best way, or they're the highest way. And I was kind of in that trap, and it's very hard to not be there because of how powerful the persona and the energy of the guru is. Because everybody had all these stories of their interactions with Baba that were just overwhelming.
Yeah.
So it's like it's really like a modern day. Yogananda called the great masters of India the modern day Yogi Christ. And his book is filled with these encounters. They're just like what you hear from the Bible. I wanted to give a talk on Jesus and the yogic tradition, a unique lens, which gives us we don't have to go back 2,000 years to know what Jesus is like, because it's all around us right now.
Right.
So anyway, I went to see Baba. And I was so addicted to the physical form that I got trapped in it. And even though I was getting all these blessings coming my way, I was so wanting a certain kind of experience that was almost constricting everything. And I was getting actually really bummed out.
Mm.
And I had a very hard time during the, there were 10,000 people there in a huge, large tent. And I was not able to receive the energy during the darshans. And I would go into these terrible black moods.
Wow.
And it was really painful. And the way it worked out over time, I was not understanding that the connection was within and not without. And I was
Mhm.
looking outward. Finally, one day, I just finally surrendered. I was going to go into town. I went into town and did some shopping so that we could sell things in America and make money for the organization. And I spent 2 hours doing kirtan and with a toothless old man from a village somewhere. It was an amazing experience. I had a guitar, and my kirtans were going out to all these thousands of people. And but I felt like I just had to give it up. That I had wanted this thing with Baba, and it wasn't happening. Of this personal encounter with him, and all of a sudden, I'm like really in despair. And all of a sudden, this yogi I know came up to me and said, "If you want Baba's darshan, run to the roof." So I run up to the roof,
Uh-huh.
and he's in another building. I swear it must be 30, 40 yards away. And he's not looking at anybody. And we're watching. He comes to the window. And my guru always, he just did so much with his hands. It was the most amazing thing. He was very intellectual. He wasn't like these gurus that sit back. He would give talks and discourses, and he was always doing this, you know. So he comes to the window and he's talking to somebody. He doesn't turn around to us. He doesn't do any of that. Just comes to the window, goes away. We're sitting there watching. He comes back to the window and we see him talking, and he goes away. Comes back to the window, talking, goes away. After 7 times, I figure I can't take any more. I'm going to go downstairs, and I'm trying really hard. The steps are like Grand Central Station. It's a 3-story adobe building in India. And as I go down, all of a sudden, it hits me. And it's like this giant opening happens, and this incredible light and love that seems to be 30 feet on each side of me totally embraces me. And it hits me so hard, I can't move. And I have to sit down on the steps. And this entire light that is so vast is like a column radiating down, filling me, and I can't move. And meanwhile, all the people are going back and forth like Grand Central Station, but it doesn't matter. And if I'd been a little bit more open, I would have gone out into samadhi. And I'm feeling it so strongly. And it's so powerful. They can't move for like a half an hour. And slowly I come out of it. And the love, and that was the experience I wanted. That was a thirst that I wanted the whole time. And that's what made the whole trip and all the pain worthwhile, was that one moment. And the guru had to spend so much time, not physically, but the real breaking me open. And finally, at the very end, I was on a bus with a young woman. And you have to understand that the guru is not the person. That was my deception.
Right.
That what the guru is God itself, it's within. And she said to me, Baba said, I'm on the bus leaving to go back to the building. And we won't see Baba anymore because I'm going to go away. And she says to me on the steps, Baba said many years ago that you could even, he said, those will be closest to me who are closest to me in their meditation. They can be in the back of the room, but if their meditation is strong, they will be the closest to me.
Wow.
And what that trip to India taught me was the beginning of the release of form, and the beginning to understand that who the guru was not the person. And I'd gotten all wrapped up in it. And the greatest lesson I took from being there for 2 weeks was that the guru was not the form, but was God itself, the divine energy source itself that appears to everything and everybody. And therefore, it began to free me.
Wow.
So when my guru died in 1990, that was a huge release for me in terms of understanding that the guru's, my particular karmic journey, or my dharma, which is the word dharma in Buddhism means your sacred path. What is your particular path? My dharma, my particular way. was that I needed a physical guru. But you don't need a physical guru to contact. So when you draw the Mary card, guru is coming through. Because the way my guru described it when with the New Hope Metaphysical Society, someone said, what is the real difference between a guru and the angels? And my friend Gary, and this is a whole nother story which I can't even get into, which is a whole nother phase, because he started channeling to a friend of mine, and it was more powerful than the physical thing for 5 years, 6 years.
Wow.
Now everybody does it. It's everywhere. But 20 years ago, it wasn't. And it was the most extraordinary thing to have that experience of the divine encounter of the guru in the channeled form. And in the channeled form, the guru said, Guru is the guiding spirit of all that is. Let me say it again. What guru really is the guiding spirit of all that is. All that is so vast that we can never comprehend it, but all that is has created an aspect of itself as a guiding aspect.
Wow.
All the great teachers, the angels and everything else, are all aspects of this guiding spirit. And so it doesn't matter what form you use. Is it Mary? Is it Jesus? Is it Kuan Yin? Is it Archangel Michael? They're all reference points like waves on the ocean that we connect to in our human form, that we need as reference points
Exactly.
to all that is. But ultimately, our interface is with all that is, which is our true self. It's who we really are. We are that. We have just forgotten.
Yes.
A friend of mine once said it in a really cool way. He said, this is the part of me that remembers what I am, and everything else is everything else I've forgotten that I am. So the third phase of the journey is the present day, and how did I incorporate guru into when I wasn't, and as the dreams began to leave me, why did that happen? I don't know if you need a break or you want me to continue.
Well, let's see. Let's go into our Apollo game, and then we'll come back, and then we'll finish up your story, and then we'll come into the midweek collective check-in. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. So for you guys at home that have never played the Apollo games with me before, get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Start up your engines. Bring your inner child to the forefront, because I have a treat for you. In this Apollo building game, we're going to challenge Ken's psychic abilities today, his channeling abilities today with this game. And Ken, I'm going to challenge you with a small video. Essentially, the question is, which path does Oracle take? Does she go left or right? And then I'm going to come back. You're going to answer us. Everyone at home is going to answer us. And then let's see what the answer is. Are you ready to be challenged, Ken? And everybody at home, you guys ready to be challenged? Let's do it. But first, the prize, of course. From me, you'll get a social distancing, one-of-a-kind, mint condition high five. If you win, okay? They're limited. So make sure that you take care of it.
Let's build your intuition. Which direction does Oracle take? Does Oracle go left or right? Reveal time!
Okay, Ken, what say you? Does Oracle go left or does Oracle go right? No pressure, no pressure. May says, she says right at home. And how about you, Ken?
I said right.
You say right? Okay, everyone. If you want to answer, you have till the end of this clip, and then we're going to go ahead and jump right in. So you have till the end of this clip.
Let's build your intuition. Which direction does Oracle take? Does Oracle go left or right? Reveal time!
Left. Okay, if you're watching on the replay and you got this right, social distancing high five for you. And anyone else who got this right, social distancing high five for you. We're very generous here at Divine Encounters, so don't worry about that limited number. We'll just say that they're collectibles. Don't worry about it. And coming into Mr. Ken's last phase of his story, gonna let him take that away.
So I came to understand the experience of the guru in the channeled form through a friend of mine actually was more powerful in many ways than the physical experience that I had when I was actually in Ananda Marga itself. It was the most extraordinary thing. And I had so many, I'm going to write a book about it one day. I got to do it pretty soon. I had to get Gary's permission. But the experiences were very overwhelming. And I think it was the second phase of my relationship to the guru. And it showed that guru is not limited to physical form in order to teach us. And I think what it did is it gave me, because I had so many difficulties emotionally during the time I was in Ananda Marga, it was a divine blessing for me that allowed me to have this tremendous transmission of divine energy while I was in the waking state. It was really quite extraordinary. Now I have many friends who can transmit the divine as powerfully as Gary can, but Gary was one of the first that ever could do it to the level they could. The room would be filled, what I call divine immersion. It was like, I always say it's like taking a hot tub bath with God.
Wow.
And that period was very important for me because it really allowed me to really recharge my engines in a way, take the next step of my journey. That was from 95 to about 2001. And 92 was a very pivotal year for me. And it was at that time that I got involved with channeling. And I began to understand that I could access the energy of the divine of guru in many, many different forms without depending upon any one particular form. And it was then I began to really, really, really finally open up in the waking state. And as I began to open up in the waking state, then the dreams began to recede because I didn't need them anymore.
I understand.
I can now access in my waking state energies that were closed to me back then, and I could only access in the dream state. So then I began to have the kind of experiences that many people talk about now, which are that. So now if I do a group meditation or if I do channelings or even in my own meditations, the current or the flow of the connection to the divine is exceptionally strong. I have so many friends, and even myself, I lead meditations where the room will just fill up with energy.
And I have seen this.
Yeah, 'cause I've done it at your place. But you can do it, and I know probably people who are watching this can do it. And so what I would say, before anybody asks any questions or any comments, is that what it's all about to me is opening up the conduit. We all have the conduit. Each human being is born with the birthright of having this full connection to the divine and all the tools and all the support and the love of the divine. Part of it is that, as Ramakrishna once said, the winds of grace are always blowing, but we must learn to set our sails.
Wow, that's
And I feel
beautiful.
for myself that in a lot of the problems I cause for myself, it's not God's issue, it's my issue. I'm not using the things that I've been given.
Right.
Use the things that I've been given, things work out really, really, really well. And I got to say right now, I'm feeling all this energy moving through me that's maybe moving to people. So maybe through my talking, I'm feeling there's this divine blessing.
Yes.
I listened to a story many years ago, and someone commented to me when I was telling this story, which is a very spiritual story. They could feel waves of light moving through me
Wow.
to the audience. I'm feeling at this very moment that the immersion is happening for me as I'm sharing all of this. And I'm hoping, therefore, that people who are listening to this are getting the waves of energy that are moving through. So I feel it's very important for all of us that, so now I'm at a point where the divine encounters is like, what do you mean? There's a divine encounter every day, 20 times a day.
Yeah, no, it's so normal. It's like, what did you eat last week? I don't remember.
Thousands of divine encounters. It's like breathing.
Yeah,
And it's not
exactly.
like you have to wait for it. It's like anytime you want to open the channel, the conduit is there. And
Yes.
the point of the spiritual path is to open that channel, to open the conduit, until all of a sudden it becomes your second nature. It's like, it's not something unusual. As
Right.
Osho once said, "What's the big deal? I'm God. There's nothing unusual in being God. The natural state is to be God. The unnatural state is to forget that you are God." So the bottom line of the ending of all this is, as you move into the higher stages of the journey, the fusion, or the yoga means union.
Hmm.
And the idea is you begin to understand thou art that. There's no distinction between you and the vastness of the source, because you are the source. Rumi, the great poet, once said, "You think you are a drop in the mighty ocean, but you are mistaken." And this is the guru's teaching. And he would hold his finger like this. In reality, you are the mighty ocean contained in the drop.
Wow, my whole body got chills for that. I think that is the most beautiful way to close this out. Wow, I feel like we've got, this episode did not disappoint. We are here. We say we create divine experiences through your channeling today, through your expression of your story today. I feel like you gave that to the audience today and then some. And if you want to talk to Ken, go ahead, Ken. I want you to let people know where they can reach you before we close this segment out.
Probably I give out my email if they want.
Okay, go ahead.
It's kenstories@verizon.net. And so I'm available for dream consultations, which I think I'm really one of the better dream interpretation specialists probably in the area. I do spiritual counseling for people. I'm really, really good at coaching and at helping people see what is the next step, to help resolve issues and to see what the next step is. So these are the kinds of things I do. If anyone wants to have a session with me, I work with people. And also, people want to have group presentations where I share insights into spiritual things, like, for instance, and I've done this at your center many times, particularly on the afterlife. We do a lot of work on the afterlife, the law of attraction, like what is the relationship between soul contracts? What are they all about? We had a very, very powerful session at your center, where people literally were deeply moved and shifted
Yes.
by the work we did around soul contracts. That was very, very powerful.
It was very powerful. And you guys know where you can get a hold of Ken. Ken, thank you so much for being a guest on our show. Maybe in the future you might want to come back, because I know you have a lot more stories to tell. And May sends you a lot of love in the comments there. And thank you so much. May you go in love, light, and wisdom. And thank you for being here. Bye, Ken. All right. So now you guys know what's happening now. The midweek collective energy blessings forecast. And I hope that this segment today moved you, shifted you, and you were absolutely in love with it. So let's get, of course, to the segment. And I have one message for some special person who actually emailed me this week. They're going to get a special channeled angel blessing because they emailed me this week. And all you had to do was share this feed and then email me and say, "Hey, Oracle," subject line, "Ask the Oracle," and you would have been able to get into this drawing for this particular angel blessing. So you guys ready? We got about 6 minutes left here. We're going to go ahead and pull. I've already shuffled all of these cards for you guys, and let's see what's happening here for the week. Okay, we have Green Tara here. The Green Tara card popping on up. And she's basically, let me get this off of here. She's basically saying, start delegating, ask for help. A lot of us become so dependent and we're so strong and we're so fierce. We don't realize that we are just one person, and that is stronger than us, that is greater than us, is always asking to step in. It's kind of like, we're here, but we respect your free will. But you also have to ask for the help, because when you ask and you show that the desire in wanting and willing to move forward, universe is going to bless you and align you with someone who's going to be able to assist you. So if you need assistance, all you have to do is ask. But then also, when it comes and someone says, hey, do you need help? You don't have to make a face. All you have to do is say yes. And then just allow it and say thank you. Yes, thank you. And that's it. Nothing else. It doesn't make you anything else. Okay. I just need to say that particular thing because I feel like some people are just kind of stubborn in receiving help. So with that delegation, it's saying child card. I feel like this is see yourself like a child, nurture yourself like a child, allow yourself whimsy and joy, and fill your days with things that are childlike. Dance, sing. You want a piece of candy? Go have a piece of candy. You want to go play with your own kids in the playground? That also brings out your inner child. Playing these Apollo games like we did today brings up your inner child. Tap into that loving, nurturing energy. And we started off with, it's definitely worth mentioning, we started off with the Mother Mary card today. That was the blessing, the beginning opening good news card. And then we have that child card. So I know it's all about nurturing for the rest of the week here. And recognize that we're coming out of choppy waters and now coming into smooth sailing. So maybe the beginning of the week, you had a little bit of resistance going on with all of this Mars in retrograde happening. But recognize that you are being shown this dove here, this symbol of peace from spirit, bringing you this olive branch of peace and reaching out to you. So you understand that the bird is coming to you. It is being reaching out to you. And all you have to do is accept it. And part of that acceptance is going to be being kind to yourself. This kind of reflects that child card with the Angel Daniel card. This is a blessing card, by the way, not a tarot card. And Angel Daniel saying, be kind. There's kindness here. He is blessing you with kindness. And kindness can be directed to yourself, waking up and saying, I am a beautiful person, I am worthy, I am loved, I have value, and not putting those what I should or shouldn't be doing, those judgments that you place on yourselves. This is about knowing that you have value. The angels see you as perfect. You are where you need to be at the right time. Angels do not place any judgments on you. And I actually got a message from someone last week stating that these readings were too soft. And I will tell you, in 7 years, the limited 7 years I've been working with angels, no matter what crazy thing, whatever life has thrown, they have never come to me in a fear-based manner, only in loving and compassionate ways. And so we have Angel Michael saying here, we're going to also be blessing with some of you with success. We understand that you're on a mission. We understand that you're working hard towards a goal, and allow us not only expect the miracle, because we had that Mother Mary card earlier, but also allow yourself to align with that childlike energy, because in that childlike energy, there is no resistance. There is the least amount of resistance when you're in that loving, playful, jovial state, because you're connecting with that angelic energy of joy and of love and of playfulness. And then the final blessing today is beauty. Angel Faith blessing you guys with beauty. I feel like this is in alignment with the childlike state. When children look out, it's not like, oh my God, this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. It's like, wow, this is interesting. Let me examine this. Let me look at this. So look through those beautiful eyes of a child. And now, the moment you guys all have been waiting for, which is the winner of this week's. Ooh, did you guys see that? They did like a double flip. You maybe didn't see it, but 2 cards flip here. So this angel blessing is going to be for D. Mari, who is the person that emailed me. I'm just going to type that in right here. Boom. D. Mari is the person who messaged me this week. So she's the one getting the angel blessing this week. And all you have to do is email me at Divine Encounters at E360 TV. All right. So the Mari angel blessing for you today. You are being given this week the blessings of opportunity and enlightenment. I feel a lot of pink around this. I feel a lot of love. I feel a lot of support. I want to feel like I'm congratulating you as well for something. I don't know if you just recently have an expansion to your family or an expansion to your family is coming up, but I feel like I should be telling you congratulations. I feel like there's also going to be more opportunities. Yes, I just feel like this opportunity is to expand your family, to pass along your seed. I feel a lot of love. And I just feel like this is something that you needed. You're going to be learning a lot from this new being that is coming into your life, who may or may not be here, but I feel like this is coming in for you, or this new creation if it's not a physical being. But there's something beautiful, passionate, and loving, also feeling very familiar here. But this definitely does feel like to me a new expansion in your family. So definitely congratulations on that. Yeah. Thank you guys, everybody, for being here with me today. Don't forget to join me Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, where I bring you all of your signs, horoscope, blessing prediction forecast for the week. And of course, we're going to have more games. And if you also want to be on this show and you feel like you've also had a divine experience that you want to share, all you have to do is email me. I want to hear from you. I will send you an intake form, divine encounters at ep.17tv.com. You'll fill out my intake form. And if your story is right for the show, I will definitely bring you on. And don't forget, you can also work with me for sponsorship opportunities. If you want to create a commercial, you can do that here on Divine Encounters, as it live streams across all platforms, of course. And if you want to work specifically with me, learn with me, howwellness.com, or you can go ahead and meet up with me and have some fun times like our free Violet Flame meditation and meetup.com/awakened Philadelphia. I hope this episode today brought you guys to realize something within yourselves, to explore something within yourselves, to discover more, to want to discover more. And most importantly, I hope that as you're leaving today, you are leaving better than you came. So for me, above all else, thank you for being here. Go forth and create divine experiences. May you go in love, light, and wisdom to know thyself, love thyself, and remember the divine always has your back. Ciao.
I am the oracle of Apollo. Come share your light with me. These messages I follow. It's just